After years of anticipation, September 2014 saw the release of Bungie's next great effort in Destiny, a universe with much promise and an initial creation of wonderment that really made for a delightful startup period. You play as a Guardian, humanity's last hope in the fight against the darkness, and a character whose death is circumvented by a floating robo-pal called a Ghost, voiced by Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage.
There you are.
Upon revival, you are then thrusted into a world of beauty and newness. Everything can really almost be equated to a newborn baby learning its very first lessons about the world.
Fallen thrive in the dark. We won't. We need more light.
An integrated basic training effort at the beginning does an amazing job of setting the tone of inquisitiveness, yet apprehension at the same time. I believe it was Kevin Van Ord of GameSpot who said this, but Destiny tries to tell a story, but doesn't necessarily succeed at telling a convincing one. Throughout multiple instances in the game, whether on Earth or another planet, you find yourself starting in the same spots, revisiting the same areas, and in a different mission, you might find yourself asking, hey, wasn't I just here? It seems as though Destiny wants to get away with a slightly off-putting mission structure, where you visit the same areas, only this time, you're going a little bit further than before. Ooh.
Don't do that.
Not much interest is kept, having only your ghost pal divulge information to you while visiting long since abandoned locales. And at these locales, it seems as though they've had more interesting past than they do present. I personally would have been more interested in seeing the fall of these locations rather than what they are now. There is a limited amount of characters in Destiny's story, all of whom make brief appearances, and none of them add anything of value to the overall story or my reasoning to care. The most interesting thing about these characters is not the queen, nor her brother with the emo haircut, but the fact that this character right here is voiced by Lauren Cohan of The Walking Dead, Maggie.
A side should always be taken, little light. Even if it's the wrong side.
At the end of Destiny's story, you'll find yourself saying, is that it? I found myself frantically exploring other planets for an hour after the final cutscene, wondering if I had missed something, and if the story would continue after I triggered something, only to realize that yes, indeed, I had finished the game's short, disappointing story.
Don't do that.
No memorable characters, no memorable dialogue, no memorable moments. Destiny heavily expects that you'll find enjoyment in other facets of the game, such as strikes and raids, rather than in its disappointing story. Considering Bungie's honorable past with the Halo franchise and how inclusive the Halo franchise stories were, this is definitely a disappointing development with Destiny. Gameplay is solid. The vibration of the controller and especially the triggers on the Xbox One all make for a satisfying experience when pumping futuristic space lead into dozens of enemies. The grind to level up your character to make future missions easier is also an intriguing feature. Never go to the moon or another planet before you are ready. Heed my warning, please. One heavily disappointing aspect to the gameplay, though, is the lack of variety. The repetitive, mundane, monotonous design will have you go to certain areas, scan something with your ghost pal, and then defend the area. I may be over-exaggerating here, but it felt like this was the case with almost every mission in the game. The seamless dropping in and out of random players around you is a great vision that falls a little bit flat in implementation. One minute, you see a player hoping to help them kick some alien butt, the next, they are gone as they cannot follow you, nor you them, for long at least, unless you were in the same fire team or party. Overall, Destiny is an okay first effort from Bungie, but highly disheartening and disappointing to say the least. From the pre-release hype to leaked information that detailed an even juicier, more interesting Destiny game from over a year ago that was for some reason abandoned, Destiny fails to deliver an experience for us storygoers and relies too heavily on the expectation for players to explore.
I have shown you benevolence, Guardian. Should the Awoken ever need an ally, I will call on you. And expect you to answer.
She's saying you owe us, Guardian.